And you can, so whenever you're ready.
Ready? Okay. Hi, Mike. Hi, Patrick.
Lou.
Okay, I will call this party to order. And we need to approve the minutes. So I don't know if anybody's read them and wants to make a motion.
Would, but I can't.
No problem.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Thanks, Paul. Who would like to second that?
Second.
Thanks, Jeff. All in favor?
All right.
All right. Okay. Stick to my agenda here. Brad, do we have any visitor comments? Any notes of any note?
Got just the email that you sent to Todd, so.
Great. Super simple then.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, and then we are going to say hi to Jeff and give you a second to introduce yourself to the commission. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Jeff Mazur. I'm really pleased to have been given an opportunity to serve with you all on the Sustainability Commission. I've lived here in Webster since 2015. I work in the nonprofit sector for an organization called Launch Code. We train people for technology careers, get them jobs as software developers, and really excited that this is a way for me to hopefully give back in a meaningful way to Webster community that's been super welcoming to me and my family, my wife, and my small daughter is 9 years old. We love it here, and just happy to try and do something to be a more engaged part of that community. So thanks for giving me that chance.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited to have you on board. Thanks for being here. Okay, we need to go over some old business. We have the sustainability plan to chat about. The survey went out to the, because my glasses are like fogging up. The survey went out to businesses, boards, commissions, and the city department heads and some city staff. And right before our last meeting in August. And then it was sent out by Fran Sudicum. What's her title? Do you know, Laura?
She works with each of the trade, she works with the trade associations as well as the Business Development Commission and then the different business districts. So she kind of bridges the gaps between all of them. Her
Okay.
official title, I have no idea.
Okay. That is sufficient. Thanks. And Fran did us the favor of sending the link out for the survey to all the businesses in the taxing districts. And she let me know that 53% of the recipients opened the message, and of those 27% clicked on the link to the survey. And then she gave me a comparison that the industry average for civic email message open and click rates is 22.8% and 8.42%. So that was pretty nice to see that people were opening it and participating. Our community, before I move to the my next little bullet point, does anybody have any questions or concerns about the that survey?
Did you say 27%
Clicked and responded, yeah. And I know we're trying to pull up that data right now.
IT is coming up to unblock.
Okay, awesome. We'll just circle back to that then in a little bit. I've basically spammed you guys 100 times with that link and that information. So I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. So thanks for your patience with that. I just think it's kind of going to be important to take a peek at that as we move forward in the process of writing this plan. I don't like not being able to see everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so our community facing survey went out on Friday in the Friday page. I don't know if you all have signed up for that little email distribution. I think there's like 400 or 500 people on that list. Don't quote me though.
I think it's bigger than that.
You think it's bigger?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then it is going to be in the little community section of the WKT. That, you know what I'm talking about, that little page of all Webster things. And a little QR code in there. Jenny Starkey has been really helpful in helping get this message out. She was just in here, and she is going to post it on some social media and put it on a banner on the webpage as well. So hopefully, last I checked, which was last night, because, you know, I don't know why. Anyway, I checked it last night and there were 14 people who had responded. So hopefully we'll get a few more than that. Because how many people live here?
About 25,000.
Yeah, that's not a big response quite yet, but hopefully we'll keep working on it, and we'll keep this open probably for a while to make sure that everyone hears about it, or everyone who's interested in hears about it. Any other outlets that anybody can think of that we might be missing from this communication? Any other outreach ways?
Has it gone up on the city Facebook? I don't remember seeing it on there.
I don't think
Just because
so.
everybody could share it then
Yeah, oh, that's true.
and go to the community pages.
Yeah, I don't think so yet. Jenny said that maybe, well, sometime this week, I
Okay.
think sometime
But
this
that's
week.
in the works then.
Yes, yes. So yeah, if you all, since this is going to be open for a little bit, if you all think of another way to get the word out, you know, let's connect and figure out how to make that happen. Our next steps then for the plan will be, I think we talked about kind of like doing this in waves. So we've done wave 1, which is the businesses, and then wave 2, which is the community, and then wave 3 would be the open house type setting. I think that well, we can just kind of wait and see where our community is health-wise then, if we just want to do a Zoom presentation, something like that, or if we want to have like I don't know, more of a meet face-to-face, you know, scenario. We can kind of wait and see where we are in that comfort zone. But I'm hopeful that we can do that sometime in October or early November. Does that sound okay, everyone? All right. So on that subcommittee is, well, Jeff, you're just there because I'm forcing you to listen to all this as our vice chair, John, Mike, and Paul. And so we will, once we start to take a peek at the data points, start to put some things into priority and build our plan that, you know, we don't have to reinvent this wheel based on the Collinsville plan, but we can definitely make it look like Webster. Okay, that's my sustainability plan update. Anybody have questions, concerns?
I would just say about the October and early November,
Mhm.
you know, we'll get to it later in my report. The TIF Commission public hearing is the last week of October. We'll be in Douglas Hill. Public hearings probably along that same time, although it has not been planned. There is some discussion of a potential town hall meeting around that outside of the public hearings. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. So I guess I'm just going to caution that there's going to be a lot of other noise about things, and I don't want this to get lost in that.
Okay. Let me ask this then. Do we feel like it's important enough to be a part of that noise, you know, or maybe the before noise to have a Zoom session or an open house for people to come in and comment in various, you know, person-to-person ways? We feel there's value there.
Well, I was thinking sort of leave the survey open for a while, maybe we wait till the early part of November. I mean, I think obviously you want to do it before you get to the holidays.
Yeah.
But that would get people, we could just keep refreshing, kind of get this before people, and then gather as much as we can before we do some sort of listening session on sustainability plan.
So let's make that determination at our October meeting about a time or and a date on when to do something like that in the early part of November. Does that sound about right? Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Also, I've begun scheduling one-on-ones with some people, some key stakeholders. If anybody wants to participate in those or help out with those, that's totally great. I'm also completely fine with doing them. I just don't want you guys to think that I'm like just a one-woman show here, or anybody to think that.
So who would the key stakeholders be?
Well, right now I have I want to reach out to city council members, Dr. Peoples, of course, Mayor Welch, and some department heads.
Okay. So our city government.
Yeah, city government. And then once we kind of look at the information, if we think there are a couple of businesses that might rise to the, that might be like, oh, it would be great to talk to this person or whatnot. So yeah, does that sound all right, everybody?
If we do have a little open house, it might be nice to have some, what the commission has done in the past and maybe things that we're thinking about in the future, because it seemed like a lot of people had these, ideas that are really similar to what we already tried or what we've been trying. And so for redundancy purposes, instead of them just saying, well, I guess we can show, yeah, we've been doing these things.
Yeah.
And we're not a new, and one of them was like, well, why would you start with businesses first? I'm like, well, turns out you're not the first person to talk to. So it might be helpful to sort of give a little background.
That's a good
We're not
idea.
having a lot of redundant comments.
Yeah, little history, like if somebody's like, hey, how about a walkable, bikeable plan? We're like,
Right,
oh, great.
Let me just start with 1998 and I'll show you where we are today.
Yes, Jeff, we've been working on a walkable, bikeable plan for a long time with one that's already existing. So we're finally seeing some movement on that thanks to our awesome subcommittee and Todd. Okay.
Jamie, are you planning to try and do these one-on-ones in the next month or
Yeah.
time frame?
Yeah, I want to have everything I want to make sure I've heard the most opinions before we do like a community facing open house, just to kind of have some firm footing and direction. Because when we do that open house, I would love to have, already maybe even drafted a couple of really key points in the plan so that we can kind of give some history, give some forward-looking vision for how we want to see this proceed.
It might help maybe to, instead of showing the key points for what we would do, maybe just show like the key points of what Collinsville did.
Oh, okay.
And then
Yeah.
people, that way they can respond, but you didn't do anything,
Yeah, because like, what if it's like my favorite idea and people are like,
Yeah.
that's stupid.
You think we're going to commission, you can have your own ideas.
Okay. Sorry for the voice, everyone. Okay, we feel good? Ready to move? All right. The Green Cities Challenge, which is me and Mike, Betty. I don't know where the camera is to like say hi.
Right there, the tripod.
Okay. Okay. Mike, I'm going to send you an email that Jean sent us on how she wants us to write up this report. And so you and I, we've done this in the past where we kind of toggle it back and forth. And Todd and I are available on 9/28. Oh shoot, we didn't look at that data. There it is.
You want to do the data now? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I'll just finish this with Mike and then we'll go back to the data. Sorry, everyone. Okay. Yeah, so on 9/28 is the reporting session. I thought it was in October, but apparently it's not. So I'll get to work on that this week, Mike, and get something to you to look at by the end of this week. We have to finish assessing our checklist. On August 26th, Todd sent out to all the city departments kind of reminders of what we've done in the past with Green Cities Challenge. And one of those big key items, because we focused on the Parks and Rec building, was eliminating styrofoam. And Todd reached out to, I think, Scott Davis. And he reported back that they have been using styrofoam at the pool this summer because everybody wants to keep their drinks cold. So I can't fault them for that. But how do we go about, is it just a suggestion, a promise that we've made to try to not use styrofoam, or can we say, don't use styrofoam?
I don't know what the language of the last round was.
Okay.
Because it predates me.
Yeah.
So maybe that would be the first thing to understand. Is,
Okay.
did we make a firm commitment, or is this, we're gonna try and do better? Because I think the answer is different depending on which one of those it is.
Okay. Okay, I'll try to find that language. I think Yvonne sent me something
Okay.
for our last Green Cities Challenge. Yeah, just, the letter went out as a reminder for a few things, and unfortunately that one was, oh shucks, we're using it again. So anyway, yeah.
But we certainly can revisit it. I'm just figuring out how to do that. Depends a little bit on what we committed to.
Okay, all right, I'll find that language then and contact you about that.
That'd be great.
Oh, Rate, can we, Eric, go back to that data really quick, please? Thanks.
Down out of there, you don't need to see that.
So
Michael, can you see the questionnaire on your end on Zoom? Okay, good.
Awesome. So everyone, okay, how do I move this? Is it a touch
You
screen?
just tell me.
Oh, okay.
You're-
Can you just scroll down a little smidge, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
Responses are down below.
Okay, so I think it's great that there's a nice response about city should prioritize sustainability. And you guys, like, if you've had a chance to look at this, I don't want to like beat it to death, but I felt pretty good reading through this, that we were on the right track. Eric, can you just scroll to the next little? Yeah, some interesting suggestions here that will help us stay focused. Yeah.
It did strike me that solar came up, which means we probably need to hit the public grow solar thing again.
Yeah.
Because now that it's open and.
That was one of my takeaways too.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And then also I heard at the Plan Commission meeting last time
Yeah.
that Mara had talked about the ARB considering solar in the park and what that might look like. So I'm like, ooh, this is a whole conversation that we need to be having if we're gonna go to 100% clean energy.
It's the ARB.
Architectural Review Board.
Gotcha.
Because right now, I don't think anybody in the park can put solar on their house.
You mean in Webster Park?
Yeah,
Yeah, there has been a request. Well, you can, it can't be visible from the street, I think is the way it is right now. So there are a couple of people that have it on their garages or on the backside of their houses, but there are a lot of us who that won't work for.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, that stood out to me. Let's see. Good, it's a lot of EV information, or I think, like we're on the right track with that, pushing that kind of infrastructure. Eric, you can keep going, thanks. Yeah, in the citizen data that are, the 14 people who've responded already, a couple of people commented about wanting compost, like curbside type. So I'm like, oh, wow, okay. Thought that was just me. Okay, So, yeah, some businesses have done some things, some are just renters, so obviously that makes sense. Also some other good suggestions of other folks to reach out to maybe. I've reached out to all the schools, but Eden, I forgot about Eden. And they, I don't know who's participating. I know John Gabriel at Narix has, and I've talked to John Simpson. And he wants to meet with a couple of us as well, who's superintendent of Webster Schools. So that'll be interesting. So if anybody has a particular desire to meet with John and I, that's hopefully going to be coming up soon. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty nice. So, okay, thanks, Eric, so much for that info. All right, friends. Thanks for humoring me and going back to that. Okay, Mayors for Clean Energy. Remember this? This is, Jeff, to get you up to speed, is something we've been talking about for a while. And we are super excited that Mayor Welch has signed on to this pledge. It's non-binding. And I reached out to Sierra Club and got a bunch of information on, what our next steps might look like. And there's a lot of options, including, like a PSA, some communication outreach, little press releases, grassroots actions, like if one of us wants to attend a training on how to better understand, but we have Jeff who knows everything about energy, so I don't know if we need that. And then yeah, there's some policy helps that they can offer us to be able to put into the plan or to use at a later time when we want to start introducing legislation or policy language rather. So that was really exciting. I don't know. Ashton is my contact at Sierra Club. I don't know if anybody is interested in working on this with me. I'm happy to do it, but if somebody wants to kind of just team up, just because I don't feel like I'm not that super great at this in this department. But excited about it nevertheless. So if you want to think about it, I won't put anybody on the spot.
So besides the mayor signing on to this pledge, what more is there?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's the city to take individual actions to try to move toward that goal, but I just don't know if there's something specific.
Yeah, I think, and I can send you the email that Ashton sent me. I'm not exactly, I'm going to have a conversation with her. I told her that we were going to have a meeting today and that we'll contact her later this week to talk through what our next steps could be. Yeah, I know she just was like, we have tons of supports to be able to help with language and whatever else. So,
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then we have our Douglas Hill. And I know Mike and Jeff have been sitting in on some plan commission meetings. And so I don't know if you have anything that either of you wanted to share from that or takeaways that you wanted to share from those meetings.
I would just say that the commission did receive our letter, and that became part of the record before they voted 4-4, and I guess punted this whole thing to the city council. So I guess for us, it seems like the next thing is to wait for the next. My understanding is the council will have public hearings, and then we as a commission can decide if we want to weigh in with, a new letter, the same letter, how we want to voice our opinion.
Yeah, so, and Eric may want to weigh in here as well, but Tuesday, tomorrow, at our in our work session, we are going to discuss what a time frame is for the council and what we want to have included in that consideration. So after tomorrow night's meeting, it should be pretty clear that how and when things are going to move in terms of the public hearings and the discussions, and if there'll be things in addition to the public hearings. But I would be prepared. I don't know this to be true, but just to be safe, I would be prepared to say that our first meeting in October may kick this whole thing off. So, you know, if you all want your position presented early in the process, sooner is better than later.
Because the TIF fund has to be in place before.
Well, the
December
TIF public
31st.
hearing, the plan commission track and the TIF track are actually separate, but they're going at the same time. The public hearing for the TIF commission will probably be only one meeting. Is that correct? Or we don't know. That's up to them, isn't it?
It's up to them. Yes.
Yeah. But our public hearings, I'm sure, will go several meetings. And so we don't have to finish, the TIF portion has to be finished by the end of the calendar year. We can take longer than that to do the zoning and do the development agreement if we feel like we need to.
So the plan portion gets kicked to you guys, and then once the TIF and the plan are approved, then you guys have to vote again. Is that correct?
Yeah, because there are different parts to it.
Okay.
There are really three main pieces: the TIF consideration, the zoning changes, and then the development agreement. And so we have to make a decision on each of those three parts.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do you want to add anything to that?
I think I would just add that two of those, the zoning change and development agreement, have no explicit timeline. So the council can roll into spring in consideration. It is, even if they haven't done that, as long as the TIF resolution is adopted by December, we comply with the state law change about the improvements, using TIF to make the improvements to that floodplain in Shady Creek. And that's the piece that has a timeline. The rest of this could linger into next year. I don't want to say linger with a bad connotation. It's really at the speed at which the council wants to engage in this process.
Okay, and then to just clarify where we can weigh in, you know, we can offer suggestions or like if it like pertaining to like solar panels or green roofs or water issues, we can weigh in on that, but we don't like get to directly say, well, we would just offer suggestions. Am I right with that?
Absolutely. So you can make specific suggestions, general suggestions. You can do it collectively as a sustainability commission. You can do it as individuals. You can do that both ways. I am fairly certain that already in the plan commission, there was the adoption of a very strong recommendation for composting on site and solar panels where they could be used. So just keep in mind that those two things have been added to the zoning recommendations
Okay.
already. But beyond that, yes, you all are free to make any suggestions you'd like to make.
And do you know in the current zoning, because I don't think that multi-family or apartment complexes in Webster have to recycle. Am I right with that?
I know businesses do not. I don't know about multifamily. I'd have to check with planning.
Okay.
Maybe you guys can check with planning because you
I know we did a grant a few years ago where we did recycling for the apartments and stuff. But I think once the grant ran out, that was kind of the end of that. They went back to them before.
Yeah, will you guys check with planning and development, just so we know exactly what it is? Because if you're gonna make some recommendation, it makes sense to know whether it's consistent or not with
Right.
everything else.
Right. I mean, recycling is annoying, but it needs to, I mean, that's bare minimum at this point, to make sure that that's in the zone code language. Okay. Great. Thanks, Brad.
I'd like to add, from the meeting that they had last week, the developer did say that they were planning every roof to be a green roof and going to try to fit solar in where they could. That was just their thoughts early on in some of the design, some of the notes I picked up on. Yeah, they were going to embrace solar, but they really need to focus on all the roofs being a green roof to help with storm water.
version and quality. And then
Great.
Green Street is interested in setting up a meeting to walk us through their plans and kind of focus on sustainability. If whenever we're interested, they reached out again today and just said they're willing to come talk to us whenever we're ready.
Yeah, Mike, thanks for bringing that up. I think that would probably benefit, don't you think, our group and our decision and our understanding of the project at this point?
Certainly, it can't hurt.
Yeah.
Have that conversation.
Do we want to put them in for a little bit of our next meeting, our October meeting, or do we feel like we should do that sooner?
So we're talking about that green roof issue here, right? Green roof.
Yeah, Green Roof and Green Street, who's one of the developers,
Right.
wants to meet with us.
Well, the bigger issue is that, development has an impact. And is the proposal in response to that impact, or does it get you there or not? I mean, I think it's great to have, a green roof because they help to deal with water quality issues and heating and cooling in buildings and things like that. But if the overall impact is that it's minuscule in comparison to the development impact, I think you have to know that.
Mhm. How do you think we go about getting that information? I mean, they're gonna paint a rosy picture for us.
I don't think they'll have that until they solidify the design and the city council votes on it. Is that correct?
Correct. I don't mean to jump in there, but yeah, it's still too early. I think the best thing we're going to do is they're going to give us what they are planning on. And I think it would probably be good to have them in this meeting, because then they would kind of be going on record stating that they're planning it. Kind of like what he said with the, hey, we're going to do everything we can to have all the roof spaces have green roofs. And then when they can't have it, we're going to put solar on there. So that was something I heard in the zoning meeting that stuck out. So we kind of hold their feet to the fire on some of their thoughts on sustainability early on.
Madam Chair, if I may, just on those points, Councilwoman Arnold brought this up, but I'll make it a little stronger in a way that she can't as a party to the contract. Your list of things that you think the city should really want to see from a sustainability focus and from green space, just all the elements that you're looking at are all part of what's called the development agreement, and is a contract between the two parties. That is the clawback and the hammer. That's the real meat. The zoning change and the TIF are a thing, but it's really that development agreement. And those are the kinds of things that the council, in your advisory role, will need to hear from you. A solid contract, a successful contract for this development has these provisions. And what does success look like? And I don't want to call them priority, but out of 10, if these 6 get in, that's a home run. If these 5 get in, we're happy. I mean, it's those kinds of considerations as you look at it. I think having Green Street here would be good. There are pieces of this that are not answered yet, but there are things available, such as the flood study. We've heard a lot about the flood area, and I've read the flood study. And from an engineering perspective, flooding in those conditions will actually improve in that area with the development and the plan they're looking at the flooding zone. So now, of course, there's always exceptions to that, but I hope you all read the flood study and have that. But those are the kinds of things that we can look at and address. And again, where your voices are to help educate the council in your sphere of concern with what do you need to see in that development agreement to help the city feel that, not just feel, but be protected from the risks that come with development, but also be successful in the development. If the city is going to do this to create a space and an opportunity for our community that will last for some time, that is helpful to our community.
Okay, thanks. So let's say we will put, invite Green Street or SG Collaborative or what have you on our meeting to meet with us next in October. Do I need to vote on that, or can we?
No.
just- Okay,
Is it worth having a subcommittee meeting
yes.
to pour over some of our recommendations so far, and based on what we've heard, maybe put together a list of things we want to find out
Yeah,
at that meeting?
I think that is a really, that would be a wise move, and also reading the flood study I know I haven't read it yet, which shame on me.
Well, it will decrease flooding in that area because that's exactly what they're trying. Obviously, if their buildings flood, like that's not good. But it will have an impact on the environment and cause flooding in other, I mean,
Right.
you're just moving
The
water
question
a lot
is,
around,
What's gonna happen if we're down?
right?
Okay.
So it would seem that to kind of address a project like this in terms of its sustainability, it's not one thing, it's everything. And some things, some things will be here and some, it's like you have to make an overall judgment. I'm certain that the developers will be required to comply with MSD requirements, which are extremely stringent, actually. But, it's kind of all those things, you got to look at it and see where it totals out.
Right. Yeah, there's no perfect solution. We know this. But yeah. Okay, so a subcommittee meeting.
I can reach out individually to the subcommittee members by email and try to schedule something.
Okay.
If that works, and I'll make sure that Jeff gets, I don't know, what level of interest you have on the Douglas Hill project, but I'm happy to.
Thanks for anything, the chair, to educate myself.
Send that along and invite you to join the subcommittee meeting if you like.
So just a reminder, as it gets bigger, we got to make sure that quorum issue, and if there is a quorum, that's fine. We just have to make sure that it's advertised.
Right.
Sure.
And I think we noticed the last time, even though we didn't have a quorum.
Yeah, okay.
Just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, I just say make sure Todd's in the loop, and I know you all keep him in
Yeah.
there, but we want to do everything by the book.
Right.
Absolutely. Okay, you've got that then? You'll get that scheduled. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Jeff.
Can I ask, is there, or maybe this is a question someone else knows, like model language for inclusion and development agreements like these that speak to sustainability issues? Like, maybe you all already explored that as you came up with what your things are, but it seems like maybe there's a compendium of things that are sort of, you think about generally in these projects, and we could use that to look at and understand what we want to ask for in a development agreement. Does anybody know?
I don't know there's a model language Webster. I don't know to what degree the Sustainability Commission has weighed in on anything is good.
I think, Jeff, you're talking about other cities.
Yeah, or general.
Sort of borrow
General
from,
language.
and I am not aware of that in this specific case. I mean, there are other development agreements out there, but I don't know the answer to that question.
I do wonder as it pertains to like Green Street, like, and the city of St. Louis, who's also, they've done quite a bit of development in the city. And I know the city sustainability department is, I mean, I don't know if I want to say robust, but it exists and they do have a lot of building language. Right? I'm not crazy here. Listen to a few programs about that. Okay.
Yes, and like the language that for the that we used as part of our plan draft or for the planning committee about the green space percentages came from another city. And I've seen when I looked up about green streets and I know like New York and there was a couple other states that started, but there isn't a vast amount of language and for comparable size cities.
Can you remind me one more time what the timeline is for planning, the zoning change versus the development agreement?
Well, really tomorrow, we're gonna have to sort out what that's gonna be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the fairest statement, right? Because until council actually comes up with. So the one thing we have in front of us right now that we know is the planning proposal. We don't have a development agreement yet, although I imagine that will be developed along the way as we continue through the process. And then we won't get a TIF commission report until November at the earliest, right? Please go ahead.
So November 10th, we expect the TIF commission to act. We're preparing for that timeline. Of course, if they need more time, they need more time, but we know that we have to have it out of the TIF commission by Thanksgiving to leave enough time in December for the council to act on the resolution to enact TIF. I would expect, now I can speak as a staff member and not one who has made the decision. We don't have a consensus amongst council on what is that timeline for the zoning change and the developer agreement, with the development agreement, excuse me. I would expect that they likely will get yoked, right? I mean, really the zone ordinance and the development agreement are the two, the TIF is funding, but those are the two real changes. that are really going to be effective on the development plan. And I would expect they get yoked, but I can't say that with certainty. That again, tomorrow night, it's a great council session, I think, for you all to watch. They'll log in as we talk through that process, and council will talk about their process and when they would expect to take actions. I do expect October 5th, unless we hear that we'll start the planning process. Now, that's just like the planning commission, could be held over and, disappear for months, right? While we work through hearings and such, so.
Okay. Good stuff, thanks all. All right, Jeff. Those in that subcommittee, who's in your subcommittee? Do you remember? Have it somewhere. Paul, me,
Yeah.
Elizabeth,
Right.
Mike,
Mike.
okay.
So just,
It's a big thing.
yeah.
Yeah. It's almost the whole committee, subcommittee. Okay, great, cool. Okay, our new business, if we're ready to move on. The bag program, Brad, do you have any update for us on the reusable bag?
Lita in our office was planning on calling it or participating in the Zoom, but apparently she's having some technical difficulties with that. She sent me an email that the updated request for quotes went out on, or asked for updated quotes. The new bids are due by the 8th of October.
Okay,
And so that's all I have right now.
okay, awesome. I'll reach out to Todd because I don't, is that on us, the commission members, or is that on Todd? I don't know. I'll email him. He's back next week, right?
What's that?
Is Todd back next week?
Yeah, he's just out today, so.
Okay.
He just couldn't make it to this
Oh,
meeting.
yeah, no problem. Okay, then I'll email him tomorrow. Okay, awesome. And I think that's pretty, until we know what we've got going on as far as getting bags, we can't really move on anything else, right? All right, I put pumpkin composting in here. In the last couple of years, up at Holy Redeemer, I've done a pumpkin compost event. And it came from an idea in Madison County, Illinois. Y'all think I'm like such a fangirl of Illinois. They actually have it going on over there sustainably. And they do like a really big municipal collection of, expired, tired pumpkins. What I've done in the past, is just small cheese, like up at Holy Redeemer, the school in the parish, and anybody else who catches the signage. And it just is a helpful way to obviously keep pumpkins out of the landfill. Some communities that I've seen have done like pumpkin catapults and they make like this big festival out of it. But I was like, I don't know, I think it would be cool. Again, we could also suggest, and I don't even know if this is possible, does waste management just allow us to put pumpkins in our yard waste?
That's where I put mine.
Same.
But that-
Same.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were supposed to.
I don't know if we can, I do.
Yeah. That could just be, I'm all about like solutions here for keeping the things that shouldn't be in landfill out of the landfill. If it's something as simple as like a little social media blitz that Jenny can help us with, as far as like, hey, don't throw your pumpkins away, throw them in your bushes and let critters eat them, or put them in your yard waste. I am interested in the idea of a, fun, larger community pumpkin compost event, but I don't know if I have the bandwidth this year to see that through. Anybody else?
I like the idea of some sort of message
Okay.
going out with maybe a link to a sustainability survey at the bottom.
Oh, look at you. We can make it in the shape of a pumpkin. Woohoo. Jeff, you're so creative. Okay, so this year we're going to do some pumpkin messaging. And I will work on that and then get it out to you guys, and you can comment if you want, or you can completely ignore it too, because I know you're all busy. Does that sound all right, everyone? Unless you're itching to get in there on that pumpkin action. Okay. Our next item, our last item in new business is, we feel great that Jess with us now, and we have one spot open, and we have 2 qualified candidates for that spot. Amna Majid and Carla Armbruster. And Carla is an educator at Webster University. And she helps with or I don't even know her like official title, but she does the sustainability minor there. And then Amna is an environmentalist, and she's works for WashU in their sustainability department right now. I met her at a speaking engagement, and she's done really awesome things at her mosque to educate people and bring them along in the world of sustainability. So that was quite the conundrum to have 2 wonderful people to fill this last spot. So I talked with Laura about this, and we came up with this idea because Amna lives in North Webster, and we have been missing that voice since Danielle left us. She didn't leave us, like she's not gone. She's just no longer a member. It sounded very morbid. So I was thinking, it'd be great to have Amna come on as a full member, and then have Carla come on as an ad hoc member and help us with the writing of the sustainability plan. And so I spoke with Katie here at the city, and she said what she would recommend is a letter of recommendation for exactly that from our commission. So I just wanted to see if what everybody's thoughts were on that, or you have questions, or if you're okay with moving forward on something like that.
I think that sounds like a great compromise. I'm sorry I had to leave. I had a technical issue.
No problem, Patrick, thanks. So then we would just have to, will you help me with
So
writing that
would you,
language?
so how about if we have you all go ahead and you can just do a voice vote, but vote that you would like to recommend Amna for the position and Carla for the ad hoc position.
Okay,
And then you can just send me an email tonight that says that the commission voted, and I'll take that into the meeting tomorrow and we'll get this done.
okay, awesome. Okay, so all in favor of having Amna Majid join the commission as a full member, and then Carla Armbruster as an ad hoc member to help with the sustainability plan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, okay.
You need a motion? and a
Yeah, you
second?
need, we probably, sorry, I wasn't even thinking, yeah, probably need a motion in a
So-
second.
so moved.
And the second is there, so.
It's a little odd, Jamie, because we've never voted. The commission has never voted on members. They just
Yeah.
appeared, right?
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, I thought
So
so.
you're really voting on adding an ad hoc member and deciding which of those, you're
Got
making
it.
a recommendation. We still have to actually make the appointment, but you're making a recommendation on who is the permanent, and then you are agreeing that you want an ad hoc member.
I was gonna say, did you miss when we talked about Jeff and voted him in?
I don't think I would have snuck through, given the credentials of these people. I think that, they're first.
Jamie, can I just ask, as between the 2 candidates, are they aware that one of them is being considered
Yes.
as an ad hoc and one as a full member? Okay.
That is an important question, Paul. Yes.
Okay.
I spoke with Carla, and she was 100% on board with that. And she just, I made sure that she understood that she, wouldn't have a vote if we had to come to, voting. And she was like, well, how often do you all vote? And would I be frustrated? I'm like, no, we don't vote that often. Like, it's a pretty copacetic group. So, she understands
Okay.
what's going on. And then God forbid one of you all decides to step down, then Carla could be our next person who steps in. If, does council have to approve that officially then?
Yeah.
Okay. That would be the idea anyway.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds great.
Good. Okay, so are we all set then?
Yeah, as long as you send me an email so I can distribute it tomorrow, we're good.
Okay, groovy.
So I've been Googling about recycling pumpkins and it's sort of like unsure. So I will call and find out if you can put your pumpkin in the yard waste. And then if not,
Thank you.
Recycle City, which is in St. Peter's, has a designated zone for dropping pumpkins off. Is that something we could like work into? If we had a collection in Webster, is there a vehicle that Webster owns that could then transport pumpkins?
I'm not the person to answer that question, so.
That's a good question, because I have just been using St. Louis composting, and they just drop off a couple of extra toters, but like Madison County uses like what are those things called? The big guys.
Dumpster.
Thank you. Sure, a dumpster. The kind that rolls off the back of a
The
truck.
roll-off,
and then- Yeah, okay, that
Yeah, I'd fold this into your email to Todd.
guy. Okay.
Or we'll bring back
the
the goats and we can just.
soon.
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right. So many branding ideas. Okay. Okay. That is all from me. Laura?
We've talked a lot about Douglas Hill, so I think you all know, to the extent knowing is possible, what the timeline of that is. I also wanted you to know that October 15th, the council has a strategic planning retreat set. And yes, I will make sure that the fact that we are working on a sustainability plan is part of that conversation. But if there's anything else that you all feel strongly you want to be a part of that conversation, let me know. And then also just to let you know, and other things going on in the city, we do have an advertisement out now for our search for our fire chief who has retired or who is retiring. So there will be some sort of search process, including probably some public opportunity for input. So keep your eyes out on that if you care to weigh in on the fire department at all.
It's posted. The job is-
Yeah, the job is posted now. It closes sometime next month. And so it'll be a little while before we get to real discussion. I think that's all that I have. Too bad we're not meeting the Monday after our meeting, because I could be a little more certain with you. But certainly, actually, if you want, once we figure out a little bit more about that scheduling, I can certainly let Jamie know, and then that can be distributed to you via email, as long as we copy Katie on it.
Okay.
So you at least know the timing.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be helpful. All right, great. Thanks, Laura.
Sure.
Brad, do you have anything else from Todd for us?
No.
All set? Okay, just want to check. In the subcommittee meeting, do we need to do another, like, who wants to like sign up genius type thing for attending council meetings now, or what do you think?
It might not be a bad idea. I'm happy to do it tomorrow. And then we can figure that out in the subcommittee.
Okay.
Yeah, and just so you know, this discussion will be in our work session, not in our regular meeting.
Okay.
Right about that.
Okay. I think that's it, friends. It's a lot. Still though. Okay, awesome. So thanks everyone. And we just need a motion to adjourn, right?
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Jeff M. Okay. All set. Thanks, everybody.
Look at that, 4:50.